Hi Aries, I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're enjoying the gradual transition into fall. Well, I guess it depends on what area of the country you're living in, right? At the Pacific Northwest, it has been gradual. It still feels like summer most days. So my name is Kyla. This is my channel, Resilient Heart Tarot. I am new to YouTube, but a longtime tarot card reader, longtime tarot card appreciator. And I also really enjoy and practice astrology and conventional psychology, usually by means of therapy, self-help books, etc. Basically anything that has to do with psychology, personal development, self-help, self-healing. I'm just about it. That's just my life. So I hope that through this channel, I'm able to, transmute the lessons of spirit, because I think it is incredibly magical and powerful that we have this, and I'd love to be a conduit of it, and also sprinkle in some of my own wisdom here and there in helpful and hopefully entertaining ways, to kind of guide you and make you feel confident in your path and where you're at and your situation, and also for you just to enjoy. I personally really enjoy listening to tarot card readings, so I'm hoping to extend that little bit of joy to others. So I am shuffling in the background. The other thing I wanted to say is that there's going to be road noise because my windows are open. It's pretty warm and I live in a pretty vibrant city. And also this is my last reading and I'm a little tired, so bear with me. It might take me longer to get the messages, but I'm gonna do the best I can to get you a good reading within a reasonable amount of time. So I'm gonna tune in here to your energy here. So Spirit, tell me about Aries in love in October. Tell me about them. I'm hearing 8 more shuffles, 8 more. I'm gonna cut the deck here. Spirit's advising me to read reversals. I always check in, see what I should do. I want to say, even before I got started with your reading, I already feel light. I feel energized. It feels like a very Aries type of spirit, which makes my heart feel happy. But also, I don't know what the cards are about to tell about your story, but it could be that you feel energized. Maybe you're feeling pretty good right now. Maybe October is going to be a month where you feel light and like you have a lot of kind of passion and zest for life and for the things that you're working on. So that was past, present, future. Here is the overall cause. Here's the root. Okay, and here is the bottom of the deck. So I'm not going to be dramatic and make a big fuss over this, but I would say probably 3/4 of all of my readings for October have pulled the Wheel of Fortune. We are going into Scorpio season, which is a season of death and rebirth. And I think that as a collective, there's a lot of transitory, maybe transcendent change energy happening for a lot of us, which is really powerful. And you are no exception. You have it overarching on your reading, which means that October, there is going to be a change here. You can expect a change. So I'm going to tune into this reading to see the story here. So the first thing that I want to say is that you are not having the experiences or outcomes you want because I don't think you're getting enough rest. I think you want to work with somebody. And like, I think that you have a strong desire to collaborate and build with someone. And it's not happening because I don't think that you're not taking enough you time. I think you're probably putting yourself out there too much, making yourself too available to people who don't deserve it or aren't going to give you the same reciprocation that you're looking for. I think what it would behoove you to slow down and to take a couple weekends where you stay in. Maybe you meet up with your friends for brunch or for a night out of drinks. But other than that, staying in and reflecting on why you are settling for people who don't want the same things that you want, who aren't fulfilling your needs. And I think if you do that, I think you might shake off old beliefs about love that actually aren't useful. They could have been rooted in childhood experiences. I think reading into these two people who have showed up in your life might give a little bit of insight into what those childhood experiences might be that you're shaking off. So give me just a second. This first one, who came into your life in the past, was somebody who was probably playing it pretty fast and loose. It was somebody who was, one day they're texting you and on day 3 they're gone for 48 hours. And then maybe they pop back up over the weekend, but you can't rely on them to be consistent with you. Maybe you meet up with them to do fun things like go out for drinks or, hook up on occasion, but it never goes further than that. You could have sweet moments like, making breakfast together the next morning, but they're never going to text you later that night and tell you how great of a time that they had and set up another date with you. That's just not how this person operates. And the reason they don't operate like this is because they're non-committal. I think this person's out for a good time. They're not taking you into consideration. They are probably acting very self-defeatingly and probably very recklessly, probably reaching out to different people for validation and love because they don't feel it in themselves. Oftentimes people act this way, or they could just be incredibly immature too. People go through seasons like this that are just, as they're kind of growing up. Sometimes people think that they need to go through a season of sowing their wild oats to, really be a fully well-rounded human being, which I disagree with. I think everybody's path is individual. It's definitely not necessary to do that. Also, if you were dealing with a Virgo or a Capricorn, I would be really curious. Like, let me know, because they went through cycles like this in the recent past, and it sounds like you ran smack into someone just like that. So that's what was going on in the past. So this person wasn't meeting your needs of stability and security and commitment and love. You can't build with this person, which is what you want to do. Like, they can't do that. They don't want to, or they might not even be able to. And so the fact that you stuck around with a person who treated you like this probably shows that you're lacking, you don't think that you deserve to have those needs met. And I'll get more into that after I read about the person who's coming in right now. I think you have somebody coming in currently who might appear to have everything together, like the whole package. They are like secure, they're probably financially well off, they probably have a really prestigious job, maybe went to a prestigious school, they're older and more mature. They seem like they have everything together. But this person deep down is probably has some traits you will not be happy with as you uncover them. Things like being controlling, possessive, also non-committal, maybe not as generous as you would think for somebody with so much, physical wealth. Maybe also like deep down, like maybe there might be some obvious character flaws related to that, but also just in the same way of the Knight of Wands in reverse is just non-committal, like insecure, probably insecurely attached, doesn't have high self-esteem, doesn't really know what they want, doesn't really know who they are, doesn't know who they're looking for. Like they're just not there yet. Again, this is somebody who cannot build with you, like does not have the ability or maybe even want to, although they do seem like they're probably a lot more stable than the last person. They'll return your phone calls, they'll go out with you on the weekends, like you can expect some amount of consistency. If there's just like a simmering underbelly of non-committal that you'll pick up on eventually if you haven't already. You might not have met this person yet either. So in any case, I think what you're learning is that, you're probably not very happy in these relationships. They probably feel off to you. You're not super excited about them. You definitely know that you're not getting what you want. And I think what you're going to realize when you take some time to focus on yourself, which I think is the change that's going to come, because I think these, like I said, resonated from you not taking enough you time, like not taking enough time to really sit and think about who you are and what you want in relationships and what you value. And so you weren't able to draw boundaries with people who weren't meeting your needs and giving you what you want and weren't aligned with you, because you really weren't sure what they were. And you may also, like I said, have not been sure about if you deserved them. And you absolutely do. And I think that when you take some time to really reflect and remind yourself of how lovable you are and how valuable you are, these patterns of relating, of accepting less than you deserve, of letting people stick around in your life who clearly aren't cutting it, stemmed from old beliefs in childhood that you're still carrying with you. And I think that that's what you're going to figure out. And if you can go through a healing process, I think for you, it's like a self-identification process. Like, who am I? What do I want? What do I value? Here's my list of things. And then, really hold people under scrutiny who you're dating. Like, does he meet my need for spending at least 2 nights together a week because I really value quality time if you don't live with somebody, for example? Is he making the cut here? And if he's not, and I feel reluctant to leave, why? Well, oftentimes that's because you feel like you don't deserve to be treated better, and you probably also have a fear of abandonment, and so you stay in relationships with people like this who aren't capable of meeting your needs because you're too afraid to be alone. And those are sad things. They come from childhood trauma. They can be fixed. These kind of unhealthy, relating behaviors, they're coping mechanisms you developed when you were a child to survive. It's very smart of you to have developed these because they helped you live with caretakers who probably weren't meeting your needs, but who you couldn't leave because a kid cannot survive on their own. So these are like deep-rooted things. And when you carry them into your adulthood, these unhealthy coping mechanisms translate into relating behaviors that just aren't useful anymore, like staying with somebody who clearly won't commit to you because, hey, it's better that, you know, you get attention from them sometimes, rather than saying, I don't want this guy, like he's just all over the place, like I never know what I'm going to hear from him, and it's like stressful, and I can't get him to, like, he's not giving me regular enough attention, he's clearly not devoted or loyal to me, and like I want that. And so, sorry, like, no hard feelings, but I don't want to see you anymore because we don't want the same thing. Like, having the strength and the ability to do that will come from when you slow down and take some time to yourself and identify the things that you're carrying over from childhood that are causing you to stay in these types of patterns, in these types of relationships with the people who are just they're not meeting your needs. I think that this is the change. I think this is the direction for you, which is really great. I mean, that is some powerful stuff. And, you know, when you do commit to this change, you're just going to bring in such better people, you know, people who want the same thing as you, who can meet you where you are, who are on your level, who will, you know, prioritize you and go out of their way to make you feel like they love you and they value you, and what's important to you is important to them, and they're going to show it. So it's a really wonderful thing. I'm going to pull a card from you from the Soul's Journey lesson cards. And you have Death. I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. I think this is an ending to your previous way of going about relationships. I think this is a big change for you and in the Scorpio season. I think that this death and rebirth is going to occur, and it's really positive. I also think that you might cut it off with these two people here. They don't seem that great anyway. I don't think that you should sink any more energy into them, honestly. But I think cutting them off and feeling like you know why you did it and you feel empowered in your decision, even if at times it can still be hard, even when you do feel that way. And you might be sad, you'll probably miss them, which is normal. It's hard to like cut off somebody you're intimate with. But I think doing it and having the power to do it and having the knowledge about yourself, about why it makes sense to cut somebody off like that, because you value yourself, because you deserve more, because they're not meeting your needs, et cetera, is it's so empowering. I mean, I think you'll just feel so much better about yourself and where you're at. Okay, I'm going to read from this booklet here. Death is an illusion. It's a fact of life that the human body we use to travel the earth must eventually stop working. It's not meant to exist forever. The energy and consciousness that inhabited the body is free and returns to its natural home, but it never abandons us. Learn to view death as merely a change, and everything must change because stagnancy extinguishes progress. The same is true for a relationship or career. A soul lesson may be completed, and it is time to move beyond this point of familiarity and expand into new horizons of learning and development. This is a wonderful opportunity to thank those other souls in your life who shared part of your path and taught you so much. So I think maybe it's also good to keep in mind to be grateful for these lessons. I know I'm speaking pretty disparagingly about these people that you're dating, but they are teaching you about yourself and how valuable and lovable you really are, and identifying what you want and also what you don't want, which is also an important lesson. So being grateful to them and their kind of the lessons they've taught you on your path, as you kindly and respectfully say goodbye to them, I think might also be gratifying as you progress. So anyway, Aries, I hope that this was helpful. I hope you have a wonderful month of October. It looks pretty powerful. It looks like you're in for a lot of learning, and I wish you the best of luck. If you'd like to see an extended version of this reading, please leave a comment below. and I will set up an extended video system. And in any case, I hope that you come back. And yeah, I wish you all the best and take good care.